Hi everyone. So I want to talk about the three tools just change the what it means like as a designer in a product, and those tools are the Google Stage and then Claude Design and Figma Make, and you can literally describe the product and watch it onto the screen appear. And I have spent last few days on using that onto the real task, and I can see the real differences with the output, which is quite wrong. And the most designers will also admit to that. But there's something more important, more than this all three chord, and which is I felt like it could be a problem in the latter stages in the upcoming days. And this is something entire reason designers will still have a job. And so I will so I gave all these three tools as a one go with the same brief and the dash just to make a dashboard, all having the first time users and for a project management tool, and the users are the very non-technical persons and they are from the marketing team, and their primary goal is to first log in and then understand the what to do next. And that's the brief, and I will gonna show you, and let's see what happened next. So I'm gonna come with the Figma Make. So here's the Figma Make, and I will share the context, which I gonna copy from here. I gonna just copy this into the Figma Make, and what it talks about is design a dashboard for the first time user of a project management tool, and user context non-technical. Team lead manages a marketing team. User 40 to 55 user email spreadsheets daily, has never used a project management tool before, was handed this tool by IT department, feels slightly overwhelmed by new software, and their goal, first login, understand why they are, know exactly what to do next, feels like this product was made for them. So I given all the context, so it just makes the product or the design out of everything what we like to expect and what we not like to expect. And this is again the AI. So requirements: show an empty state, user has no project yet, and then includes a clear primary actions, use a plain human language, no technical terms, the tone should be feel like a helping colleague, not a system, prioritize the actions over the empty container, and do not use initialize, configure, set up wizards, no data, and or any developer language. So I will gonna run it and let's see what happens. um in this period of time, as it's generating, I gonna say that all right. So it has showed me onto the so it has showed me the it has been displayed onto the prototype. I can see. So basically, I don't know why it is not showing on this playground area, but when I put it in the prototype, I clicked on the prototype in a full screen view, it has showed me the output, and the output looks amazing. The what is expected, like the structural and the that making more sense, and then components are clean. And so for a first time user who doesn't know the project and also the context, uh, so it has not having that guidance. And I feel like this heading and the copies and everything, the labels, like I feel there's something is missing, the user touch, which is like the you need to understand the pain points, the user's pain points, and dashboard tells, and this dashboard is telling them nothing, even though I have provided the all the context. the I believe that hierarchy is logical, but it's not human. Like you can see the visual hierarchy is fine, but user experience is still missing, which from the perspective of the users, what they are looking for, the empathy is missing here. And someone who already knows how to use the product, so it was designed for this someone, but I am really upset to say that this is a missing thing on which Figma Make doesn't do. Like it the visual is perfect, but there are few things which when you're designing something, any product, you have to put emphasis onto the users itself, and the AI doesn't know the all the data. Even though I have shared the all the inputs, still it is missing. So now the same thing I'm gonna do with the Claude code. So here is the Claude design. I'm sorry, not the Claude code, it's the Claude design. I'm having few takes on the Claude design. First, if anyone is watching, all right, if anyone is from the product team is watching the this Claude design, this take, so I want to ask you one thing. What's the design behind of creating this logo? So first of all, who worked on this Claude design? The logo which I want you to comment on is this logo of the Claude design is not relevant to us as a designer, because we are not designer who draws every time. We put emphasis on the user, so we are the problem solver and we are the product person, and it is not related to that. And so I would like to request you, the reason behind of having this logo, which is very irrelevant. And the next thing is, when you are looking for sketch or like looking for the design, why would you needing sketch over here? Like, we are creating the boxes, rectangular boxes and everything. Why someone would be needing, this sketch to draw on the platform or the dashboard, or might be the app or mobile app? I am so curious about the decisions, where it is coming from. But I would love to know, if anyone did watch this video. I'm looking forward to know from you. But anyways, this Claude is interesting. As I mentioned, they did so many a lot of stuffs, and how I really like how it handles the copy, which is where I am watching, is closest here. I am using also the Claude code more oftenly into my work, into my processes, but I'm not like putting myself more strength onto the Claude code. Even I am using the human brain most into my work. Um, so I'll be inputting the same brief: design a dashboard for the first time user, for a project management tool, user context, non-technical team lead, have never project management, age 40 to 55, has handled this tool, feels slightly overwhelmed. Their goal on first login: understand where they are, know what they to do next, feels like a product was made for them, requirements show an empty state, include a clear primary action, use a plain human language, their tone should be like helpful and colleague, not a system, prioritize the action or the empty container, do not use initialize, configure, set up wizard, no data. So let's see how it does. Um, and over here, I'm still having the same comment: start with a sketch. Okay, I can understand the paper and pen sketch is fine, but I'm very much curious about this new sketch. I like about the idea about the wireframe idea about the pen and paper. That is, if you are looking for leaning towards that, that is absolutely fine. Well. So the output is here, and I can definitely see, there are many things which is missing, and like it is still needing iteration. Um, it's still better. Like, I can see that the visual hierarchy is fine, but things are missing, which absolutely you can see. Um, and the empty states are there, which is quite having this thing. The call to action is there, and also create your first project also is there, which is absolutely fine. And but here's what still is missing is, as a user, as a first time user, as a non-technical person, they're not a developer, they're not a designer, and they're not a product person. Like, they are from the marketing team, and who's just managing people and handle a new just tool for the IT department. And so looking at this level, and just to see that, um, there are so many things like, no projects, and then some of the CTS, which is quite, not quite personalized enough for that type of user, and it doesn't know the person at all, and they are getting the random insights from anywhere into the internet. So the language is defaults too technical. For example, um, need a hand, our team is here Monday to Friday, and might be add your team. And there are so many things like the hover state and also the padding. This thing is missing, and it can be done by the iteration. I'm not having a problem, but these are the certain scenarios, like, and for the user, the single word is the trust, which is a breaking, which can be broken. So again, I am looking forward to Google Stitch. Now I'll be using the Google Stitch, using the same thing. I'll be inputting the same context, and so Google Stitch is the newest. I think the Cloud design came later than the Google Stitch, and people are more excited about this right now. And Stitch is first and really fast, and it having the reflections from the Google itself, design language, and which is both amazing, and the strength and this weakness. Very beautiful, very genuine. So let's run it. It's having the same context as I used for the Claude design and Figma Make. Let's see. Okay, so it provided me with the design system, which is very randomly. Okay, I really understand that it is selecting the design system now, and now it will create the UX flows. Um, Quite impressive. All right, here we go. It created the one screen. Okay, so I'm having a take now. It's over. So it's beautifully done, and each and every one like Claude Design, Figma Make, and the Google Stitch, completely done with their homepage. They're having the good spacing, the elevations, and the component choice. All of it is excellent technically, and but this is something which I felt like the aesthetic so deeply. I can see it is baked in and doesn't have its own identity. And so that's where it comes for the user audit and the empathy mapping and the workshops with users, where you are seeing the users what they are really needing forward to, and product is built on the on the top of that, builds on the trust, and here the trust is missing, and they won't be feeling about this, and that's a brand disconnection. And this about it, this wasn't about made for me, and it just made for the devastating retention. So it doesn't show up any usability testing at all. That is something very important is missing. It shows up something 2 months very old data, and from that it is just creating one of the screen. And so that is the reason behind I see that this Google Stitch, then Cloud Design, they have in a different context. Something is important that why they come up with this design decisions. There should be some rationals behind it. Should be connecting to this, anchoring it with the design. And again, the Figma Make, so which I am really interested to look into. And so this comparison is what is missing, is the same thing about the nobody knows who the user is, and none of the AI looks forward to the non-technical and they try to make the project management tool. I have seen people from the product team, they're just creating a product from by using the AI. They think that it doesn't really need a designer, but where the designer is most important is where they think about the user empathy and they think about the pain points, the needs, requirement, and then aligning with the business goals. But the product person is always think about the how they can run the business, and they doesn't think about the how where they can put emphasis on the users most. So this is something mostly I would say this design is still there, that they are not getting replaced, and I would say that the tools are designed for the user and that they didn't design for this user particularly. So let me tell you about this. Like if I like to change, I would change, and why? Because this is actual work. Firstly, I can see that there's empty states for the first time users. Empty state is the most important thing for them, and if the first thing they see, so everything is fine, but it has to be guided. It has to be the product needs to be guided by the user itself, and rather than just telling something very random manually, which is very rare. And it also has to say what to do next manually. They won't be able to do it because for the first time users, and make them feel more comfortable, more trust, make them build trust, and make and have more comfortable, make it more seamless. This product is made for them, but this doesn't show anything like that. And none of this, all three tools, the copy is also very random, not even personalized at all. So if there would be something like welcome, let's get it done within 2 minutes, welcome to this project, let's get it done with 2 minutes, something which is something is none of them over here, which feels like more personalized, and that's the human voice, and that's the designer decisions come in, and no prompt produce that. And second, about the hierarchy and everything, like you can see here, it is the padding is missing, like it's a dashboard still, we have to use the spacings and everything, and not the empty container waiting for the data. And designer flips with all the hierarchies, and the actions becomes the hero, and the container becomes the very secondary. And the third is language, and language audit about the labels. Every button and every error message get checked by against the one questions: for whom we are designing for, what's the purpose of this, and what type of prompt we can add, like that can just immediately gives the context to the user, and none of them is providing it. Even the prompt is not helpful enough to give the context. So it happens because the designer knows the user perfectly, and they still reiterate and goes back to user, like user testing, usability testing, and does the discoveries, look into the recording stations, and there's still role for the designer, and people are just scaring every designer out in the market that the AI tool will replace them. And I want to be straight very with you about this. These tools are going to replace some of the design work, like the make it more faster, like the copy changes, like the copyright changes, making the process faster. this could be something. The the someone hands you the specifications and you make it pixel perfect. The work is still going, and the work of understanding the specific human being and watching them, observing them, this AI won't be able to do that, because the AI can't generate any of the brief, or it can't generate any of the observations, even though they are not having the capacity or the capability to use the camera from the user. And this is something, it's this AI tools could be useful for the stakeholders, for the product team, if they wants to pitch the idea to the whole product team, or might be the higher management executives, and then they come to the uh, designer, or might be the users, to run it through, if they like covers the problem statement, if they find the solutions of some of the problem. And that could be one important thing. But I have seen in the decades, like in this few years, these tools come and go to make, to make it more trendy enough, but they are not sufficient enough to replace the designers at all. If you want to test this yourself, give it all three tools and same brief, in this week if provided, and then watch that and get that right, and just feel it by yourself, what are the things are there. And in the same place, you will see what's wrong behind it, and that is the place where you can see that, the consistency, having the gap, and where you value yourself as a designer, where you see that there are things where you can align. And drop in the comments, I would love to know. And I would generally love to see what you are looking forward to know from me about the any of the tools which you like to know, and more of this, any of the insights which you like to know, drop in the comments, I would love to know. But until then, hope you have a lovely weekend and lovely day, and see you in the next time. Peace.